welcome to Shrubby Buddies Podcast, where we talk all things horticulture right from the heart of Zone 6B. So grab a drink, step into the garden, and grow with us as we talk plants, tools, tips, tricks, with a healthy dose of comedy and banter. Whether you're crushing it in the landscape or just trying to keep the one plant alive, we've got you covered. And as always, love you harder plus 2. Hey, Shrubby Buddies, and welcome to this week's episode of the podcast. I am Matthew C. Guthrie the First, joined with Timothy Daniel Fleischer. Timmy, how are you?
What's up, bro?
Nothing, man. I was going to do a nickname for you, and I drew a blank.
Yeah.
So I just went with Timothy Daniel Fleischer.
That's okay.
So
That's okay. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the peanut that got in the bar fight?
I didn't.
No.
No.
He was assaulted.
You got me. You got me. So what's been going on with you, man?
I need to talk to the people real quick.
Yeah.
I need to address the people. Whichever.
Address the people.
I'll just look between these two cameras. Is my mic in the right spot?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I just want to warn everybody that I am not wearing socks. Just letting it sink in.
Yeah.
Okay. And God forbid I come over to your house with some flip-flops on when it's 90 effing degrees, and I don't think to bring a pair of socks with me. God forbid. The reason I bring this up is because our first episode we ever did on camera this season, I was barefoot, and we got a lot of negative comments. I was raked over the coals about it.
Not a lot of negative comments. There was like people like, oh man, he's got his dogs out, and like, doing a podcast in bare feet.
There's a couple things that I want to just clear up here.
Clear the air.
First of all, we're not on an airplane, and I'm not sticking my feet between your seats, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I get that. I get, like, you don't go flip-flops on the airplane.
Yeah.
I get that. Also, like, I'm looking at my feet right now. I'm not going to show you, but they're not, like, bad feet. Like,
they're
not the best feet, but they're not, there's nothing, like, grotesque about them. I don't have, like, weird discolored nails or, you know, toes that grow in crooked and all this weird stuff. They're just a typical foot. There's nothing like gross about them unless you just hate feet.
Yeah.
So I'd say they're in the top 50 percentile.
Okay.
Or more.
All right.
For feet. So, folks, I'm going to try to keep my feet out of the camera.
I'd appreciate that.
So I might swap into a crisscross applesauce, and you might see them for just a second, but you know, just fair warning if you need to look away.
Well, thanks for clearing that up, because I'm sure that all of our listeners were concerned about it.
Well, they sure were the first episode.
Yeah. Timmy,
anyways, I'm done.
Timmy, you were on vacation last week. You and the damn fam went to Charlevoix, Michigan.
Yes, we did.
I know all about the trip, and I know that you guys had a good time, but why don't you share some of your fun little adventures with us?
Listen, I spent some quality time with my family, and that's always the best thing. But the highlight of the trip, I saw a porcupine.
That was the highlight?
Yeah.
The porcupine.
Yeah, on the first night.
Okay.
I mean, I've never seen a porcupine in real life.
Yeah.
You know, I saw him at the zoo. I saw him on the television, but like a wild porcupine just prancing around out by the fire pit by the beach at night. That was cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
And there's nothing to be scared of.
No, why would you be scared of a porcupine?
Because people would be like, oh my God, a porcupine. People think they shoot their quills.
Well, they will if they're threatened.
I don't think they can shoot them, though. I don't think they actually shoot. I think you have to actually, like, they'll back up into you, but I don't think they'll, like, shoot them like darts.
You ever seen the, like, videos of dogs that get into the porcupines?
Yeah.
And they got all the quills in their muzzle. Ugh,
Yeah.
It looks painful.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. I heard some rustling in the tall grass, and as I was walking back up to the house from the fire pit, this porcupine just popped out, and it saw me, and it just, like, casually turned around and went back into the tall grass. Like,
I like how you call it the tall grass.
What is a tall grass?
I like that.
Yeah.
The tall grass.
Yeah. So,
nice.
Yeah, so the porcupine was definitely the highlight.
Okay.
But just a good relaxing trip. Ate some good food. spent some quality time with family, had some drinks, checked out some beaches, checked out some towns. I did all the stuff.
Not all the stuff.
No, I didn't.
You didn't make it to the Traverse City Botanical Gardens.
I know.
Womp womp. You didn't make it to the Grass River Nature Preserve.
I know.
Womp womp. And of all places that I thought for sure was going to be on your must to do's would have been Shorts Brewing in Bel Air.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Like some freaking pretzels, dude.
You know how it goes. You get going.
Freshly brewed beer.
Okay, well.
And pretzels.
Maybe next time.
And pizza pie.
Maybe next time.
Okay. Well.
So.
Good. I'm glad you had a fun trip.
Yeah, I did.
It was hotter than hell here. Last week.
Yeah.
I think most of the United States was in the, what they call the heat dome. You guys were on the upper, like the northern edge of the heat dome where you were at.
It wasn't cool by any means, but it was definitely nicer than it was here.
Yeah, like the heat values of like 105, 106, 107.
Yeah.
It was miserable.
It was humid there in Michigan, but we were right on Lake Michigan, and the breeze just kind of sweeps some of that away sometimes.
Yeah, that's good.
So.
Yeah, very good, man. Things are hot and dry here, though, right? Kind of rolling into that time of the year.
They are, but it's hot, and we haven't had a whole lot of rain, but it seems like the ground's still pretty.
Yeah, I think things
are still
in
damp.
general are doing okay.
Yeah.
I have noticed like and I'm probably not going to water them. I'm probably going to let them figure it out. But the bottle brush buckeye I planted last year in my backyard, they're planted kind of underneath some big pin oaks. The water gets zapped out of the ground there.
Uh-huh. No, I'll have to check mine because I planted. Those were the ones you bought on sale at Oakland.
Yeah.
I'll have to check mine because I planted one too. It's not under a tree, but keep an eye on that.
Mine are wilted down pretty good right now, and I think that they'll be fine.
It's just a situation where they bounce back at night.
Yeah, they just need to but otherwise, like everything's doing pretty good. I did plant a few things like a couple weeks ago, so I'm having to keep that watered. But yeah, other than that,
yeah, I put some plugs in the ground.
Yeah.
At work and at home, but put some plugs in the ground, and I saw some of them today. They got a little bit crispy just because, I was gone, and you can't control everything when you're away, and that's okay.
Nope,
sometimes plants die,
or it won't be dead.
Yeah, or it won't be dead,
and it'll flush out some new growth.
Okay, look at you, Mr.
I'm gonna be the optimist person,
Mr. Optimistic over here.
Yeah. What else? We've been getting ready. We've got two big talks next week at Cultivate. So Tim's been a freaking machine getting that all of our presentations squared away on that.
Yeah, we've got two back-to-back presentations at Cultivate on Monday, this coming Monday.
We've got dinner with Hoffman Nursery
on Sunday,
which will be fun. And we are meeting up with the GH Squad, which
shout out to the GH Squad.
Couple of guys from Ball Horticulture and an employee for Peters Fertilizer do a podcast, similar vibe to ours, called the GH Squad. And, they reached out to us. They want to meet up. And I know, I think they want to do like a future collab with us.
Okay, like that.
So we can do a little podcast. It'd be like the Shrubby Buddies by GH Squad, or
perfect.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Are we going to try to record a podcast at Cultivate?
I don't know. Maybe,
I love last year, so I was really successful.
I think
I love just going around interviewing people. Not that we'd have to do that, but I think it could be a good opportunity to record offsite.
Yeah, for sure.
Wouldn't be video though.
Be more just audio.
Well, just all audio.
Yeah.
But yeah, at Cultivate, so our presentations are on Monday afternoon, right after lunch.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. And they're back to back. The first one is Dirty Dozen Plants to What's the tagline?
It's like Dirty Dozen plants that belong in the compost or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's just about 12 shitty plants.
Yeah, 12 shitty plants that are no good for one reason or another, and some alternatives, and a lot of pretty pictures, and hopefully a little humor from our end.
Yeah.
And then following that is a small trees, big personalities.
Yeah.
So we've done podcasts about these. Very different from the podcast, though. I mean, you evolve, and so things have changed in these. But I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's received well by the crowd. I know there'll be some people we know in there, and some people we don't know, and it makes you a little nervous. But
it'll be received well. I have no doubt about it.
Well,
so
hope there's a lot of confidence there.
And we're actually going to piggyback this week's episode off of the Dirty Dozen a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to blow our Dirty Dozen load now.
Well,
like if you listen to this before Cultivate and you're going to our talk at Cultivate, then we don't want you to get the same exact programming. So this is just kind of like a extension or a riff off of our Dirty Dozen.
So the Dirty Dozen at Cultivate's going to be more plants that are invasive and
plants that
ecologically don't make sense.
Yeah, it's plants that check all the boxes, like overused, ecologically worthless, invasive, some of them are ecological dead ends, which we'll talk about at Cultivate.
Yeah.
But so today
today's going to be more like plants that we feel are overused in the landscape. Not necessarily that they're bad plants, but we feel like they're overused, and there could be like some better alternatives to those. Some of them are plants that we just don't, that are nothing wrong with them, we just don't like. We've talked about these plants on here before.
Some may be bad plants. We might dip into that. We might dip into that a little bit, but a lot of it's just going to be, plants that we don't like personally for one reason or another. And, we're just going to roll with it.
For sure. Before we get going on that though, song of the week, I've got one.
I don't have one.
So, I've been listening to this Goose album, a new album from Goose called Big Modern, right? And it's a fantastic album from top to bottom. Probably my favorite Goose album. It's one of those ones you got to listen to 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
And the more you listen to the album, it's like the more it just like clicks, and resonates. But
I'm going to have to give it a shot. The single I heard on the radio, I love.
Which, Big Modern?
The one I texted you the other day.
Okay, yeah.
Very catchy. Very catchy.
But I'm going to go with the song. It's like Savenger is the name of the song.
Savenger?
Savenger.
It's not Scavenger?
Savenger.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to go
with.
Right. Savenger by Goose off the album Big Modern.
What I'm excited about is this is the first song that I don't know.
Okay.
So I'm excited to listen to this.
That whole album's great. Yeah. And also in other music news, Billy Strings announced that he is releasing in August a new studio album. So
very good.
I can't remember the name of it. I think it's going to be a heavy hitter though. Emotionally, because this is his first album post his mother passing away last year. And I think a lot of this is probably like, songs that are about all of the feelings that he's probably felt over that time period. And because I know him and his mom were super, super close.
That's deep. It's gonna be deep.
So it should be a really good album, I would imagine. Maybe a little dark at times, but yeah, looking forward to it. Okay. Anyways, all right. Into this week's episode.
Yeah. So Matt.
Yeah.
Just tell me a plant you hate.
Gosh, where do I start? I'm going to go with daylily. Okay. Like the Stella d'Oras and the Happy Returns, and not because this is a bad plant necessarily. It's just way overused, and I feel like there's better alternatives to daylilies. I mean, for so many years, like the landscapers is like, oh, we got this area to landscape. Maynite salvia, Stella d'Ora, daylilies, call it a day.
Yeah.
And I just think that there's better options. I think that there is a place for daylilies, but let's back off on the use of the Stellas and the happy returns.
Yeah. So I agree. I agree 100% on this one. Something that they do have going for them, like the Stellas and the happy returns, is they do bloom all season.
Yeah. I mean,
You
they're
know,
heavy bloomers.
Start to finish. It's almost like they're an annual, the amount of blooms they put off. That said, if you're planning a dynamic border or garden with different facets and things, you don't necessarily need that, because you're going to be planting something that's going to transition into something else. And if you just stick to this one plant, there's no textures you're mixing in. There's no other colors. But like you said, it probably does have its place. There's probably some, like a median down the middle of a road where it's just like, let's just get some color in there.
You're driving by at 40 miles per hour.
Yeah.
You need something that's tough and it's going to have color.
Right.
Makes sense,
and you're not worried about someone appreciating the nuance of the plum drops popping out of the, ornamental grass or something like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I think, if you want to bring that yellow color into the garden that the Stellas and the happy returns offer, and also bloom time. I mean, my go-to would be yarrow, like a little moonshine yarrow, or a moonshine. I mean, there's several different ones. Carnation gold, I think, is one that's got probably a little bit more of that rich kind of orangey yellow, like the Stella de Oros would be. The moonshines would be more like the happy returns, a little bit more of that true kind of true yellow, or, but yeah, in my experience with yarrow, once they start blooming in late spring, they bloom pretty heavy. There may be like a little lull in flowers there, but if you prune the spent blooms out, it'll usually flesh out some new flowers for you. But
if you don't prune the spent blooms out, you've got a nice like fall and winter interest that you've left there too.
And it's got a cool foliage texture, silvery fern like foliage, so that would be my kind of like alternative to the Stellas and stuff.
I don't have an alternative because I haven't even thought about Stellas. Like, you know what I mean? I've never, it's never even crossed my mind to put those in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't thought about any alternatives to them personally.
Yeah. I think about them. I think about it occasionally.
Do you?
Occasionally when I see big plantings of Stellas, I think what could have been done better there. Now I know, like, when you're planting 100 of them together, like, I don't know how 100 plants of yarrow would look together, but
true.
But why are we planting 100 of the same flowering plant like that together? I think mass plantings like that, it makes sense to do grasses and things like that. But like 100 daylilies or 100 yarrow or
I'm with you.
100 salvia, like, to me, that would just, like, a monoculture like that would just be boring.
Right.
So,
now, just to say, daylilies can be cool. Like, there's a lot of cool breeding that goes on with daylilies. And just like hostas, there's people that collect daylilies, and there's all these cool color patterns that come up on these very large flowers. The difference with some of those is they can be expensive, they're hard to get your hands on, and they're not ever blooming.
Yeah.
Like the Stellas. They're going to bloom once. You might miss it. In fact, I tried some like white daylilies once, some specialty ones in a garden at Bristol many years ago. And they put up these flower buds. I went on vacation and I came back and they were done blooming. I never ever got to see them bloom.
That reminds me of Dennis the Menace, the movie, when he misses his moon plant flowering for the 30 seconds because Dennis is screwing off.
Dennis, come on, Bar.
Yeah, and I actually had a conversation with Taylor's best friend, Tristan, who Tristan's a vet, small animal vet, but she has a huge passion for gardening and flowers and plants in general. Kind of started as houseplants, but it's kind of transitioned now into the yard. And her and I have been working together some this year on creating just better plant choices for her. And her and I had a conversation about daylilies. And when they first moved into the house, it was like, oh, grandma's got all these daylilies of different types at home, and I'm going to take cuttings and I'm just going to plaster these daylilies all over the front of the house. it's color free plants. There's like sentimental value to it. Totally get it and stuff. But we had a conversation. She was, literally was like, what I'm learning is I do love daylilies. And when these daylilies flower, it's beautiful. But she's like, I feel like I need to back off on the amount of daylilies and plant more diverse perennials and have the daylilies as pops of color that, and I'm like, that's exactly how.
Because when daylilies aren't blooming.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is something that's kind of subjective, but I think they're ugly.
Yeah.
Disgusting looking.
Yeah.
When they're not blooming. So,
yeah.
That's just me.
What do you got for a plant, Timmy?
A plant that I'm not a big fan of, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Something that I dislike that gets used a lot, and we've talked about it a little before, is creeping phlox.
Yeah.
Creeping phlox. I cut out there, so I said it again.
Yeah, just
creeping phlox.
There
Phlox subulata, I believe, is the Latin for that one. And listen, it's a native to the eastern part of the U.S., more so up in the northeast part of the country, and so that's cool, and it's not a bad plant, but when it comes to a dynamic landscape, I think it's fairly boring and lazy.
Okay.
Do you?
Yeah. No.
Do you pick up what I'm putting down?
I agree. We get so many times in the garden center, like people come in when the phlox is flowering because, when it is in flower, it's super bright
for those 2 weeks. When it's blooming, and it comes in purples and lilacs and pinks and dark pinks and light pinks and whites and flowers that have pink stripes on the white flower. It comes in all those beautiful colors and just shouts spring, right?
Yeah. But yeah, they put it in and then it's like 2 weeks later, they got nothing.
Yeah. So it's a pretty aggressive ground cover. It can really take over an area. And that's why I call it kind of a lazy plant, because I feel like it's just like, just chuck some creeping phlox in there and it'll cover up all that.
Yeah.
Area. And it will. And it'll look good for 2 weeks. But after it blooms, it just looks like garbage. And I don't mean like figurative garbage, like crap. I mean like literal garbage. Like I could probably go to a landfill and walk around for 30 seconds and find a little patch of garbage that looks similar to creeping phlox later in the season. It's just
like right now.
Yeah, it's just it's ugly, and it's like, I've said this before. I think it's cool if you want to fill some gaps with some pops of it for that spring color, but to plant this mat of it, you're the talk of the neighborhood for 2 weeks, and then after that,
no one gives.
You got
shit.
The garbage front yard.
Yeah, you got a brown plastic grocery bag with speckles of green on it, just laying there.
It's really good. I like that. Literal garbage.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, I completely agree with you on that. I'm not a fan of creeping phlox. It drives me nuts when people have it planted at the walk to their front door, because I'm just thinking, people, and that's all it is. It's like dwarf Alberta spruce with like creeping phlox, and I'm like, dwarf Alberta spruce is another one we could talk about. But
yeah, I don't think that's on our formal list,
not, but that's another one. Up. But yeah, and the rest of the year it looks like dog shit to the front door of your house. What should be the most welcoming and inviting part of your landscape, in my opinion.
Right, and I think in B-roll here, we need to throw up just a picture of the front of your house.
Okay,
because I think that's just a good example of a dynamic planting that welcomes you into the front.
Yeah, sure. So. Okay, we'll B-roll it up.
Let's B-roll that.
What do you recommend then that people use in lieu of creeping phlox?
What do you recommend?
You don't have any recommend?
Well, here's the question.
Yeah, I have recommendations.
Are we talking like you just need to fill up a large space with a ground cover kind of thing?
Early spring flowering, ground cover type plant.
Well, what comes to my mind is a pulsatilla.
Okay.
As far as a nice delicate foliage, it's not going to be quite as aggressive, but it's going to give you some early season color. And it'll do well in the same kind of situations. But I don't want to recommend just like a straight up ground cover, because we don't want to just be planting this one ground cover across our whole front.
I will throw a recommendation
Let's
out
hear
there. I would go with, it's going to be slightly taller than the creeping phlox, but I would go with blue eye Samsonia.
There you go.
Something that's going to stay in that, I don't know, what, foot tall?
Yeah, 12-inch.
12 to
14.
15 inch tall, early spring blue flowers that last longer than 2 weeks.
Yeah. Pretty vigorous.
Yeah.
You know, it'll really move, you know, grow.
Yeah. Nice foliage during the season.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't brown out, and then, you know, pretty fall color. But, you know, that would definitely be one on my list.
That's good. That's a real good one.
One of a plant that I'm not a huge fan of, but you could wrap into that ground cover would be like a dianthus. Could work in that situation. Even like some of the, you know, there's coreopsis that could work into that situation.
Yeah, and both kind of have that same foliage as the creeping phlox. You know what I mean? They just kind of have that.
Well, I think coreopsis foliage looks nice. I know you're not a huge coreopsis guy.
Yeah.
They're growing on me a little bit.
They're growing in you or on you?
On me.
Ooh.
But another one
mm-hmm.
would be St. John's wort.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I like that one. I like that. What's that cultivar I love that I can't grow very well?
I don't remember.
It's got like the orangey yellow new growth.
Yeah, I can look it up here. I've got the interwebs at my disposal.
We bought some of that many years ago, and it died very quickly.
Is it the one with the is it Ogon? No.
Just while you're looking that up, I just want to warn everyone, in case the camera's on me, I'm gonna get crisscross applesauce. So
get it up.
If you're scared of bare feet, look away now.
St. John's wort, we're gonna go with like ground cover maybe.
Hope you can't see that.
Creeping St. John's wort.
Yeah.
Is there which cult? Oh, it's not really showing a cultivar. Anyways, yeah, St. John's wort.
It's okay. That's a good one.
It's gonna be a yellow flower though, rather than your, you know, the pinks or the purples you would get with the phlox.
Cool. I mean,
but
that's a color that creeping phlox doesn't come in.
Yeah,
yellow. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah, so that would be a good one. Oh, Brigadoon. Yeah. And I would say that it's a more versatile plant too. Like you could do St. John's wort in the full sun and even up into shadier areas.
Sure.
So I would say more versatile than the creeping phlox. But yeah, those are some, there you go. There's some options for you.
Okay.
Did I get your brain moving a little bit on that one?
You did.
You weren't expecting me to go with the St. John's wort, were you?
I wasn't.
Yeah,
no,
I figured.
like that. It might have been the first time we've ever mentioned that plant on this podcast.
I know.
So,
staying in line with like the perennial thing. So we've done Stellas, we've done creeping phlox. I'm going to go with Shasta daisy, and this is going to be one that could ruffle some feathers, but
feathers are ruffled.
Yeah, I don't know. This is one that, again, nothing really wrong with the plant necessarily. I mean, it can be, you know, maybe you want to call it aggressive. Like it can take up some real estate if you give it some time. But it's just, in my opinion, there again, you get this short period of just these white daisy-like flowers. But other than that, it's really nothing to look at.
Here's the thing. I love a big ray flower. There's so many good options.
Yeah.
That leucanthemum, Shasta daisies don't even ever cross my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they're not blooming, I just think they look like shit. That glossy, weird foliage with like the rippled edges, I don't care for it. And then when it's done blooming,
the seed heads
just turn this real ugly brown.
They're not pretty.
Yeah, it's
not like an echinacea.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with seed heads. I look at a lot of seed heads and I say, damn, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's almost as nice as the flower. This one, just ugly.
Yeah.
And so I see that plant and I'm just like, I would much rather just have like a white echinacea there, which is so similar.
Yeah, white echinacea. We could go back to the yarrow, and there's white yarrows. Like Peter Cottontail would be a good alternative. Not going to be the ray flower, but it's going to bring that white in. Another perennial that's going to get a little bit more height to it, but is still going to have, if you're looking to add like kind of a white sort of pop of something, it's not the pure white that you're thinking, but would be Pycnanthemum muticum.
Yeah. Much different, but fits in that full sun, later blooming category for sure.
Other good alternatives to it could go ahead.
I was gonna say, just like name your black-eyed Susan. I know they're like more on the yellow side of things than white, but you've got that same flower shape and that same general size.
Yeah.
But with just a plant that I just think looks nicer when not in bloom.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah, doesn't it seem like with black-eyed Susans and echinaceas, their bloom period is just really long. Like as soon as the bud forms, it looks nice, and the petals come out slowly, and everything is just gradual and nice. Whereas those Shasta daisies, they're just like blow, and then they're just like
yeah. Echinaceas are dramatic. I would say even more so than Rebecca, the black-eyed Susans.
For sure.
The echinaceas really
they bloom forever.
I'm this flower bud here, and it's going to take me 3 weeks to show you my first little bit of color.
Yeah.
You know, they're super dramatic, but it's worth the process. Yeah. The whole like the evolution of the flower of echinacea is beautiful. But and then the seed heads are banging when they're done flowering.
I agree.
You know? So yeah, I don't know. Echinacea is a good one though, for sure. Cool, man.
A good white cultivar of echinacea is white swan, and
powwow white,
and powwow white.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two of the probably most common ones.
Yeah.
So
cool. Yeah. What else? What do you got, buddy? You got any? Well, I know that you've got some plants that you hate.
Well, did you? So are we still working on perennials? We still talking about perennials?
We got some shrubs and trees. Yeah. You know, another perennial would be more grass-like, would be miscanthus.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say next, because I didn't know if we wanted to shift gears, but yeah, miscanthus.
Miscanthus grass. So this is one that
maidenhair grass. What's the other common name for that? Anyways,
probably one of the most commonly used grasses. I would say in just the regular homeowner world or landscaper world, gets used all the freaking time, sold like crazy, but it can hurt you. Like I've gotten cuts from miscanthus.
It's an ouchie. It's like
ouchie. It's hard to like. It gets so thick and dense and just shitty. It's hard to cut back in the spring.
And just backing up to the cutting part, like what Matt's saying is like the blades of the ornamental grass.
They're like razor blades.
Yeah, they just have like a really sharp edge to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I've walked by them before I knew what they were when I was like younger, and run my hand through it, and just like,
you get a paper cut. Yeah,
it hurts. And that's no fun.
They're not listed, but they are invasive. You can still buy them in the nursery, like a lot of other invasive plants. You can still buy in the nursery, but there's just way better options for miscanthus.
They are, and that's the thing. Like just because it's not on your state's official, like we can't sell this list, doesn't mean it's not invasive.
Yeah,
it just means it hasn't moved through that process yet.
Yeah,
and you can check watch lists. Like I know Megan worked at Dawes. She's been at Inniswood now for quite a while, but she worked at Dawes before that, so it's been quite a while. I remember when Dawes took away all their miscanthus because they were starting to see it reseed in like the natural areas. And I mean, that's the definition of it right there.
Yeah.
A non-native plant that's going to start out competing, your native grasses that are great for, the wildlife and such. So,
yeah. I just think it's overused.
I hate it. And I don't, I've been thinking about this lately. Like, is it because it's because I have so much bad thoughts about it? Is that why it's ugly to me? Because when I look at it and I'm like, I don't even know why you would choose that over
Andropogon, panicum,
big blue stem,
Yeah.
switchgrass, even like yellow
featherreed grass.
feathery and yellow prairie grass, sorghastrum.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you look at that miscanthus and say that's nicer looking than these, because
Yeah. There's way better.
and I know there's like
natives.
a shitload of miscanthus cultivars with like the stripes and the seed heads, but I
There's
don't know.
a shitload of native grass cultivars too.
There are, and they're way more colorful. Way
more colorful. They don't have the aggressive tendencies that miscanthus has.
Do you find that miscanthus is messy too? Like,
Yeah, it blows in the wintertime. Like the dry. To me, it's not even pretty in the wintertime because
No.
it gets all brown and
Gnarly.
crinkly and like shit blows everywhere.
Yeah.
Across the parks and across your landscape.
It's like right around the plants. There's just like a
it's
mat
messy.
of it on top of the mulch from that. It's not like it's been building for years.
Yeah.
It's from that. Yeah. It's just.
But your blue stems, your what are we calling sorghastrum now?
Yellow prairie grass.
Yellow prairie grass. What else did we mention? Oh, panicum, switchgrass.
Yeah. Big blue stem.
Big blue featherreed grass.
Yeah. Like, so the Calamagrostis, like Carl Forster, that would be the one non-native one we're mentioning, but it's a lovely stout grass that's going to give you some of that height, and it's not invasive.
Yeah.
If that was invasive, we'd know by now, because that's a very commonly planted grass.
But these plants, they're more colorful. They have prettier seed heads. They're a cleaner plant. They look better through the wintertime. Most of what we mentioned is native. I feel like they move prettier. They're just a more flowy plant. They move in the wind easier. So,
and I know we're going to, just a little, what's it called when you, when I don't want to talk about a show, you don't want to talk about a show because I haven't seen it yet.
Spoiler alert.
Why'd I brain fart that?
I don't know.
Spoiler alert. This is one of the things in our talk this week about plants that we don't like. I remember last year we mentioned miscanthus in our talk, and I heard something. Do you remember that lady in the back that was just like they're sterile cultivars?
Yeah.
When we talked about the miscanthus, and like what I always come back to with that argument is that's what they said about the Bradford pears too. You know, the Cleveland Select and
Cleveland Select was
the one that was supposed to be sterile, and you know, it ended up making fruit. But even if it didn't make fruit, even if it's not like setting seed, it's still releasing pollen that's just enriching the breeding grounds of the plant. So like, I don't buy the sterile thing. I'm so over that argument, and I wish the growers would start getting over it too, because they keep coming out with this, and we're going to talk about this at Cultivate, but there's so many things that these high profile growers keep coming out with, and they're just like, it's sterile, and it's like, yeah, but is it really?
So as we talk about this, I have a really good idea to throw in the slide for our presentation.
Perfect.
Next week.
That's what I want you to
add a little humor.
I want you to do a little editing, and then
I'm going to need your help on it. So
that's what I'm saying. I want you to do a little reading and let me know what we need to change.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah.
All right. So miscanthus, off the list.
Get out of here.
We gave you some good grasses to use instead. I'm going to throw knockout rose out there, and I'm not seeing knockout rose used to the extent that it was 10, 15,
20 years
ago.
It had a heyday, didn't it?
But
fair warning,
it's still out there.
Feet are coming down. My foot's falling asleep.
It's still out there. It is still available. And I just think that there's better options to knockout rose. They're, in my experience, a short-lived rose. The rose flowers don't look as good as a good like hybrid tea rose or climbing rose. So if you want to plant a rose, if you really want to go down that road and deal with the headache that roses are, more power to you, but there's better options than planting a knockout rose.
Listen, if you want roses, if you love roses, then plant roses.
Roses,
and figure out what you need to do to have successful.
They're a
rose
labor of
growing.
love.
Because there's nothing about a knockout rose that's like a regular rose.
Yeah,
You know, like they don't smell good. They just don't have a scent. The flowers just are weak. So it's the thorns. Like they have thorns, and that's what makes them similar to a traditional rose.
yeah. I mean, I think with the knockout, they probably bred a little bit of the disease tendencies of roses out of them. Because I do know with the knockouts, like didn't see as many diseases with them. Still saw like insect problems with the flowers.
Still saw a lot of dieback in the cold winters.
Cold winters dieback or just completely dead. I know in Dublin, one of my first years at Dublin, we had that really snow rollers winter. The winter after that, every knockout rose in the city was dead. You remember that? They had to go through and rip every single knockout rose
I
out.
remember up along Avery Muirfield, up there near Perimeter, there was just knockout roses up and down those strips in the center of the road.
Every one of them
they're
dead.
gone. I mean, they've been gone for a while.
So in our climate, zone 6B, now I'm sure down south, it's a different story with them. But in our climate, they just are a shorter lived rose also. But yeah. Tim, I know you have some good alternatives for knockouts. What are like a couple, 2 or 3, what should people be planting in lieu of a knockout rose?
What are you planting the knockout rose
I don't know.
for? I guess
Give me a shrub that gets 3 to 4 foot tall, 3 to 4 foot wide, puts on a nice, pretty pink flower.
No, you give me a shrub.
You want me to
I want you to give me a shrub
that does that?
Yeah.
Damn it. I was hoping you had something because you're putting me on the spot right now. I didn't think about alternatives for the knockout rose.
You put me on the spot too because I didn't either. But
that would be summer flowering.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you're planting knockout roses because you like roses, then plant roses.
Yeah.
Plant roses, do your research. You're going to need to buy some chemicals. You're going to need to disinfect your pruners. Like you're going to have to take a lot of steps in order to grow that rose. And if that's for you, that's for you. Otherwise, if you're just wanting something tough to plant in a landscape because it has blooms on it, knockout rose isn't it. You know, it's not the plant.
Yeah. Hydrangea, paniculata.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Paniculate hydrangea. I don't know. You get a white flower that will probably, most of them now are turning hues of pink in one shape or form. Some earlier, some later, but
a smaller not smaller, but a more reasonably sized viburnum that I like is that wither rod viburnum nudum.
Yeah.
Just great flat topped flowers, white, wonderful, dark red fall color, and then really cool berries to set that off, like purple and blue. So, and that's one it's going to get bigger than a knockout rose, but you can keep pruned.
Yeah.
And that's going to be tough.
And like you said, if you want to do the rose thing, have at it. Bayer makes some great chemicals now that are pretty much all in one, food, systemic insect killer, disease control. So it's going to hit your mites, thrips, your diseases, also feed season long sort of thing. So there are some good products that hit on that.
And find a rose person where you're at. Like I know in Columbus here, there's plenty of rose people because there's the Park of Roses, Whetstone, and then there's a nice rose garden at Inniswood where Megan works. And like Megan didn't get hired into Inniswood as any kind of rose expert, even though that's one of their keynote gardens. But there are some people who volunteer and work with Inniswood who are just rose experts.
Yeah.
And she relies on them a lot, and that's okay.
And learn how to prune a rose because there is.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a special way to prune a rose to have it continue flower. So
I would give it the old basil prune, but that's just me because I'm not a big fan of roses.
I'm not either. I'm not.
When I say basil prune, I mean just cut it off at the ground.
There are some beautiful roses.
Yeah.
They're just not for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Knockout rose.
Shout out to Maddie, our coworker Maddie. She loves her some roses.
She really does.
She does. Good for you. Good for you, Maddie.
Gosh, what are some others? We got some shrubs and trees on here.
I got one I want to make sure that gets mentioned, and that's barberry.
Okay.
And this is one that is just like, this isn't just like we don't like the way it looks. This is just a bad plant. It's invasive. It's a trash collector. It's thorny, and there's nothing that great about it, in my opinion. And the kicker, which I thought this would turn people off right away, is the tick thing. So there was a study done, I believe it was in Connecticut, that the tick populations around escaped barberry, so that's barberries that were growing in the woods near areas where barberries were planted, so invasive barberry, were like 120 times greater, because something about the humidity that sits around barberries.
Okay.
So they were saying, like, I read a little of the study, and it was something like they'd sample an area of native plants and there'd be like 10 ticks, and they'd sample the same size area where a barberry was growing and there'd be like 120 ticks.
So not only do you get the ticks and all that other stuff, but you get more humidity.
Yes. And I'm not saying there's going to be ticks in your yard, but I'm saying like, just like, that's just a red flag for me. Like, this plant that's invasive, that's going to grow in the woods and attract more ticks. Like, why do you even want that?
And humidity, like, we've already got corn sweat. We don't need barberry sweat. You know what I'm saying?
True that.
I don't want to be walking through barberry sweat on a summer day.
Yeah. This is a bad plant.
Before you know it, it's going to be on the weather thing, like corn sweat alert. It's going to be barberry sweat alert, tick alert, Lyme disease. Get ready for it. It's coming after you.
Ticks.
And don't tickle your balls on the barberry, because they'll cut your balls right up.
No, and that's a good segue into, when I was at Ohio State, I don't know if it's still there, but on the north end of the stadium, for crowd control reasons, there was a lot of barberry hedges, just so people would filter down certain walkways and filter out certain walkways. And it's a good strategy. Like, I get it because of the thorns. It's something that once you get into it, you're going to get out of it really quick because it's not going to feel good. But what you notice if you step back is the amount of trash they collect, because no piece of litter is going to blow into that hedge and make it out.
Yeah.
It's not. And that goes for every single leaf, every single cigarette butt, anything that blows in there just gets kind of collected at the bottom.
If a patch of creeping phlox blows in there, it ain't getting out.
Nothing.
Nothing.
So just those thorns just stab napkins and cups and condoms and whatever's blowing around, and they're trash collectors. I'm just telling you straight up, they're trash collectors.
Yeah.
So,
but a good alternative to barberry probably would be like number one on the list.
Fair warning, I'm going crisscross applesauce again.
Okay.
Because I'm sick of my feet being on the floor.
Okay.
And so if you don't like feet, look away.
So that would be 9 barks. Yeah. So the 9 barks are going to fill that color.
Yeah.
Burgundies, oranges, yellows.
You can find 9 barks in all the same colors.
And they're going to fill that size niche too.
And they're native.
From like upright to more rounded. So yeah.
Much more. So barberries have blooms, but that's not why we grow them. But you'll get some bonus blooms too. The nice whitish pink blooms with the what was the plant we were just talking about?
9 bark.
9 bark.
Yeah,
Physocarpus.
And there's a small smoke bush out too, Velvetini, that's going to stay relatively small. That's going to give you that same.
Yeah. That's another good one. Or like lime glow juniper would be a good one, because there's some of the barberries have that lime color.
Yeah.
Right. And going back to the 9 barks, I really like the cultivar panther.
What else you got for that? Anything?
No, barberries suck, man.
I'm gonna
No, I'm not done actually. They are invasive. It's unequivocal that they're invasive, and stop denying it, okay? Because this is what I hear all too often. You're in the woods and there's a barberry growing in the middle of this old woods. Like, how did that get there, right? And then someone who loves barberries is like, well, that couldn't come from my plant because my plant's purple and that one's green. Well, That's just not how the world works, people. It's called science. So there's a couple things there. First of all, that purple barberry may not make a purple barberry from seed. It might just make the green one. That's possible. Also, when you're growing in the woods in dense shade, you're going to lose a lot of that purple color. So that's another reason why you're not going to see some of those tones of those colors deep in the woods. So
it's very similar to like the echinaceas and how some of those don't come true to seed. You know,
Right.
like you have an orange echinacea and the seeds, it comes purple, you know. So
I've told this story before, but in college, Pablo Jordan took us on a field trip. I think this was just like a fun extra credit type thing, but we went up to Johnson's Woods. Said to be the only virgin forest in the state of Ohio. It's said to be. Anyways, it's a very large tract of land with giant oaks. It's beautiful. And I remember we walked through this place and I saw one invasive plant in there. And this would have been 20 some years ago. So it's probably more now. I saw one invasive plant and that was one lone barberry in the middle of these woods. So damn thing's invasive.
Did Mr. Johnson's daughter pull up in a Jeep?
No, Farmer
Because he knows how to grow them, if you know what I mean.
Farmer Johnson's daughter was not there.
Nice.
Anyways, we can move on from barberry now.
Are you done with barberry now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate that stuff.
I'm going to move on from barberry.
Yeah.
We're getting short on time.
Oh.
So we're not going to hit everything.
That's okay.
But I'm going to throw one last one out there.
Let's do one last one.
And this one's going to be like nothing more than I don't like them. And they are way overused in the landscape industry. And that is the snow fountain weeping cherry.
Okay.
So you drive through here in central Ohio, any residential neighborhood that's like these quick turnaround, like MI Dominion type. I don't even know who, Ryan Homes, whoever's building these things now. I don't even know if MI still a thing or
Home
Dominion
is a 2-letter word. MI. I haven't heard that commercial in a long time.
So, you know, these houses that go up overnight, basically these kind of neighborhoods. And Central Ohio is like a booming part of Ohio. You know, I think Delaware and Union counties are two of the fastest growing counties in the state of Ohio. And I think that they rank nationally as the fastest growing counties. So,
they
these
put up a lot
neighborhoods
of
are going up.
houses.
Yeah, a lot of houses going in. And every single house, it seems, not every, but so many of these houses, it's like, Borough Boxwoods, which is another plant on here,
but we're not going to talk about.
But boxwoods with snow fountain weeping cherry on the corner of the house, or up by the front door, or in the little flower bed where your little like lamp post is by your driveway, and yeah,
And there's so many things. There's so many things that are just obnoxious about that.
So, snow fountain weeping cherries, and it's not that they're invasive or aggressive or anything like that. They're just, one, they're not very attractive. They flower early in the spring, and then after that, that's pretty much it. They get so much dead in them, like underneath. If you're not staying up on the pruning all the time, they sucker up from the base.
Right,
constantly.
and no one stays up with the pruning because like no one knows how to prune them, and I don't mean that in like a derogatory way towards the people. It's just like, it's just no one's given a card that says here's how you prune this, so you just like prune it how you think you should prune it, which is usually wrong.
They're sappy, they're sticky, they're a relatively short-lived tree. Like most cherries. I mean, you're looking at like 20, 25 years. I mean, I'm sure that there's specimens out there that have lived longer, but they're probably going to succumb to disease and die.
Yeah, cherries get a lot of diseases.
Yeah. So, but they're just way overused, and they have been for years.
And how many times have you been through an older neighborhood and you've got the weeping, so it's the weeping cherry, right, with the white flowers or something, and then you've got this giant pink flowering
where it's reverted back
piece coming out of the top, where it's like something grew below the graft or something, and it just again didn't get pruned properly, and now it's, and people are like, I got this really cool cherry that's got 2 different flowers on it. And I've even seen the rootstock making edible cherries up there. And it's like, I almost prefer that one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Give me the one that ain't supposed to be there.
but I always get excited when I see those. Like I've stopped several times and, just been like, that's really cool for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. But some good alternatives would be, the obvious for us would be redbud.
Yeah.
If you want a weeping tree, a weeping redbud, and they just come in so many different foliage. You can get green with the regular pink flowers, green with white flowers, burgundy leafed ones, chartreuse yellow leaf,
variegated ones. And what's cool about the redbuds is the flower display is unmatched.
Yeah.
Like when it blooms in April, that's really tough to beat. And then you just move into this really clean heart-shaped foliage. Even if it's just the green foliage, it's just a nice, clean foliage. It's a good-looking plant.
Yeah. Again, with a lot of the ornamental, like smaller ornamental trees, they typically are going to have a shorter life to begin with. So same with redbuds. Redbud's not a tree that you're going to have around for 100 years. 25 years is what I normally tell people. That's not to say 30 years or 35 years is out of the question, or even 50. But if you shoot for that, but yeah, so they just, I don't know, just an all around better tree.
If you want a weeping tree, that's my suggestion.
Yeah.
Is a redbud, because it comes in so many different types and colors and stuff, and where it depends on, is it grafted high, low? Like you can pretty much pick the one you want for the space.
Yeah. And now there are some cool, like, you'd have to probably go look. So the redbuds, you're not going to have to look far for. They're going to be you go to a decent garden center in your area, you're going to find weeping redbuds. Not to say that you're going to go to Lowe's, one of the box stores, and find them, but like if you go to a legit garden center, chances are you're going to find one, or they can get it for you. But like one you may have to search for, but you could find would be like a weeping ginkgo. So there's some cool like weeping ginkgos, or maybe not weeping, but something that would kind of fill that size. But
yeah, really, you can find almost anything that's weeping. It's going to be a very specialty shop, and you're probably going to find it's going to be very small. It's going to be a while before it gets to that height that you're excited about.
Sure.
So,
yeah, but again, it's an option.
Yeah.
So,
man,
cool, man.
That time went by fast.
Talking about plants we don't like.
Yeah, it's like almost too easy shooting fish in a barrel. Talking about plants I don't like.
Fish in a barrel.
Yeah. I feel like I need to cap it off with something.
What do you want to cap it off with?
I don't know. Something that I don't like that you like, and we don't have to talk about this long, but is lamb's ear.
Oh, no, hold on.
No.
Back the hell up a second. Who said I like it?
I don't know. You always tell me, like, don't say you don't like it because it's going to make people mad.
No. I've never said don't tell people that you don't like it. But I'm not a huge lamb's ear guy, okay? But there are some pretty prominent plant people in this world that.
Is that what it is? You don't want me to offend somebody?
It's not about offending anybody, but I just don't want. I don't know. Go ahead.
Okay.
There's some big time plant people in this world that use lamb's ear, and they use it right, and they make it look nice.
Here's the thing. Lamb's ear has a very small window of looking nice, and it's not when it blooms.
Yeah.
It's when it shoots up the flower spikes and they're all fuzzy and they're starting to crack a little color. That's really cool. They look clean. As soon as they bloom and everything after that, they just start to look like poo-poo.
Okay.
And they just do. They are another one of those garbage plants where you could go to a landfill and look down and be like, oh, that looks like a patch of lamb's ear in August.
Okay.
And that's just how I feel about it. They do. Now, listen, 2 places you'd use a lamb's ear. A children's garden, because children love to like touch stuff and it's like soft and fuzzy and that's cool for kids. Or like a sensory garden, again, where people are in there touching stuff and smelling stuff and listening to stuff. great for that tactile sense. But other than that, like I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them in my perennial border.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
Yeah.
Are you trying to ruffle my feathers with that? Is that what you were trying
ruffled?
to do? No, I'm not ruffled at all.
All right.
I don't disagree with you.
Okay. Whatever.
Whatever's right.
Whatever. If I see it, I'm yanking it. I hate it. Hate it.
You get it all out?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious.
You know, it is the same genus as it's Stachy's.
Mm-hmm.
And Stachy's like Byzantina or something like that, whereas Stachy's Humelo is the one that we use a lot. And that's a plant that, again, I'm sorry, that has not been knocking my socks off lately. Like, it came in and I was like, yeah, I love that one. It was like the perennial plant of the year in 1918 or 19. And we both used a bunch of it. And
it was the perennial plant of the year in the year 1819.
Oh, that's what I meant 2018 or 2019. It was one of those. And like I just look at it and I'm like, it's not knocking my socks off. I can think of like 5 or 6 or 7 plants that I'd rather have in that spot that kind of do the same thing.
So I've got 3 or 4 in my front landscape that look beautiful.
Yeah.
Love them. They do great every year for me. I have a mass planting of them in Dublin.
Mm-hmm.
And they look like dog shit every year.
I know.
And hold on.
I know.
I have said multiple times to you, like, dude, I really want to rip all of these out and start over. And you're like, why? No, just keep them in there another year. And
I know,
see how
because
they
it's
do.
a big area. And I'm going to get roped into helping.
Oh, stop it.
Here's the thing. Here's why they look good in like your landscape and my landscape, because you kind of got them buried in the middle. What I think the problem with them is the foliage. The foliage is butt ugly. It's just ugly. It's kind of cute at the beginning of the season when it's just this little pile of like shiny green, but as it ages, it doesn't do it. And so it's neat when you've got that foliage covered and you've got these cool flowers, these cool like fuchsia looking pink flowers popping through. But where you're talking about in Dublin where it doesn't look great, it's in the front. It's not covered by anything. So once it's done flowering, all you have is just a mat of that.
I'm ripping it out. People, I'm ripping it out. All of the Stachy's Humelo, she gone.
You heard it here first.
But I mean, in all fairness, like if they looked as nice as they do in my yard, I would not be ripping them out. But they do not look near as good.
And again, that's not a plant I hate. It doesn't fit today's. It's just a plant that I'm falling out of love with.
Yeah. Similar to Cicerentium lucerne.
Yeah, that's another one that I've fallen out of love with it.
I know. Still does fine at my house, but yeah, I know you do.
It's one of the most beautiful plants when it's doing well. I've just been having trouble getting it to do well.
Mm-hmm.
So
I hear you.
Unfortunately. So if there's any plant breeders listening, let's work on that.
Cicerentium lucerne.
Blue-eyed grass. Let's work on doing some breeding with that to create some tougher cultivars, maybe some different flower colors, maybe bigger flowers. I don't know. We need some breeding there.
All right.
Enough of the echinacea and the hostas. Let's move elsewhere.
Cicerentium.
All right, let's be done.
Okay.
Because we could go on forever.
We're done. Cool. So that was a fun episode. We are so happy to be back in studio and talking to y'all. And we'll catch up with y'all next week. Let you know how our Cultivate talks went and all of that good stuff. If you are going to be at Cultivate, if you see us out and about, please stop, say hello. We would love to chit chat. I'll probably have some stickers with me that I can hand out to you with our updated logo. So I mean, I got some. I can't hand them out to everyone at the conference, but I got some stickers here for peeps. So
no, but if you stop and see us and do a little trick, you might get one.
Do a trick, yeah. Anyways, that's it for this week. We love you all harder.
Right on. Love you.
And we will talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.